Oh, hello, I didn't see you there. Welcome to Wednesday's Cereal. Hello, Internet. It's Wednesday's Cereal back this time to talk about Avengers Academy. So I wanted to take a minute to talk about this book because I've seen a lot of other reviewers talk about it and they're singing its praises, and I went back and reread it and I looked at it and Gage does a good job. He's introducing all these new characters, but he also has a nice twist and some plot thrown in. It's all there in a single issue. It's pretty well packed and damn good. McCone just does solid job on art. Never heard of him before, but he does a damn good job. Now, I'll be honest, the only reason I picked this up is because in my box was Avengers the Initiative, and because of this being the title tie-in, I'm kind of contractually obligated to pick up this and the next couple of them, as I cancel it now. And the reason I'm not such a big fan of this is really a big disposition I have against high school, and this book just feels so high school. I mean, the initiative felt like kind of college-esque, I guess, where you have these people and they're specializing, they're learning these skills for registration. This is just a group of kids thrown together and there's a big reveal. I don't want to spoil it, but essentially it's just a bunch of kooky teenagers getting together, and oh boy, it's something Marvel's done time and time again. And honestly, if I wanted to read a modern rendition of this sort of story, I'd just reread my Runaways trade. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with using archetypes, but so far I haven't really seen much characterization that's really set any of these characters apart. One issue in, sure, that's a bit harsh, but honestly, let's see if any of this sounds familiar. Some girl that's really smart but incredibly disconnected from everyone else, and just because she's so cold it really off-puts everyone. Or someone who's very human in heart but has a very unhuman appearance and is struggling with that as they have trouble connecting with people just because of who they are on the outside. Or someone who has a power that makes it impossible for them to have physical contact with the outside world, as they always have to have some layer between them and everyone else, otherwise they might harm those around them. Or a hip young kid with crazy powers, or, a girl who's just not too sure of herself and is learning that she is worthwhile. Or some hip young guy who all the ladies want and just goes about doing what he does best, but is learning to be sure of himself as everyone else is in him. Honestly, this book sounds to me like someone thought, hey, maybe we didn't capture all the teeny boppy people with Young X-Men when that was out, so let's see if we relaunch it under an Avengers title with different characters to see if that grabs some people. It's just not that engaging. Though I will say there was one little moment that kind of caught my attention for positivity, and that is Vale. She comes out and she just has this costume, very form-fitting, but not too... I mean, it covers her whole body. And she comes out being very unsure of herself about it, and one of the guys comments, not everybody can pull that off, but you can, looks good, trying to compliment because they're all uncomfortable with this whole thing, and they have that to relate to. And she thought, well, maybe I don't look so stupid in this, because she was worried about it before. And I have to say, I know that sort of situation comes up a lot where girls are so worried about the way they look, and honestly, they look fine. It happens time and time again, and it's just kind of nice to see a moment like that in a comic to just kind of personify that sort of thing and to kind of get that message out there that there are people who are going to like the way you look, and I think that's a positive message to have out there. And for all that's about good representation versus bad representation in comics, I think it's important to mention, but at the same time, it's one very small little thing in a comic of meh, in my opinion. So yeah, I know it's a personal hang-up that's really preventing me from enjoying this comic, but I thought I'd put that out there because I'm just tired of this in general in comics, just this whole high school feel, because we need to relate. Honestly, most comic readers I don't think are in high school anymore, especially with the price hikes. And you know what? I'm a grown-ass man. I want to read about stuff that not necessarily I can relate to, but doesn't necessarily try to harken back to all those high school things that I'm supposed to remember. Honestly, I don't really want to remember my high school, not because of some traumatic experience, but because wasn't that memorable. I'd like to move on to times that are a bit more exciting, about people making something out of their life, not about the potential of what could be, but actually doing something. That's my 2 cents, and I just thought I'd pitch that in. That's it for this review, but I'll hit you soon with another.